Hello everyone, it's freezing out and turbo training is a brilliant way to maximise your cycling fitness around a busy life. But what do you actually need to get going? We're here with all the information you need to get set up on a wide range of budgets.
Yeah, now Tacx makes a huge range of indoor trainers and they've helped us out by supplying all the trainers that you'll see in this video. You can find links to all the kit that we feature down in the description below.
Yeah, now we're going to go through a load of different setups in this video, work our way up to a money no object pain cave. Ooh. But which of these setups will be your choice? Have a watch through, let us know in the comments below. Right, you better get your riding kit on.
I thought you were.
No, because we're going to start small. Okay, welcome to our pain cave. Now, turbo training has got a whole lot better with the advent of connected apps for training. Now, they can all use power data from your trainer setup, but in many cases, the absolute minimum you'll need is a trainer of some sort and a speed sensor for your rear wheel. Now, the app will take that speed data and it will estimate a power to use in a training session. Now, this Tacx Boost bundle is ideal as a starter setup because it includes both the trainer and a Garmin speed sensor. So you're ready to go. The Boost trainer is nice and quiet. It has a 1.6 kilo flywheel for a good road feel, and it's got a bar mounted lever that moves magnets that act on the flywheel to give you 10 different levels of resistance. Maximum resistance on this trainer is over 1,000 watts. There's even a front wheel riser included to keep your bike sitting level.
Yeah, and I've got to say that this wheel riser is a lot better than my old trick of balancing your front wheel on a set of books.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Boost trainer is really easy to set up and it takes up very little space when it's folded. So it's perfect for cramped garages, front room settings, things like that. And the riser even integrates as a handle when you pack it away. So it's all together for the next time you ride. Now, to run any sort of connected app, we're using Taxx's own training app here. You're going to need your smartphone or a tablet or a laptop, but as this is the 21st century and you're watching this video, we'll assume that this isn't going to be too much of a problem. If you're using a laptop, just find a bit of furniture to prop it up on. Here, we're just using a phone and I've got a nice elastic band mount sorted out for Jamie so that his phone doesn't fall off the bars.
Yeah, it's high tech, isn't it?
Yep, that works well and it keeps us under our £250 budget for the setup, but for an extra tenner you can get a proper silicone strap to attach your phone to the bars, which is a lot more secure. And lastly,
I wonder where that had gone.
Make sure you've got a towel because it's going to get sweaty when you get going. So there you go, Jamie, 250 quid and you're good to go. How does it all feel?
Yeah, it feels absolutely fine, to be honest. The wheel-on trainers of old, you used to get that bit of slip and stuff. None of that from this, so
no,
I'm a happy boy.
And with the lever set in position 2, like you've got it now, it gives you a virtual power reading to the Tacx training app, so you can get a decent number. What do the numbers look like?
Realistically low. Yeah, I'm currently going around late Annecy, so it's quite flat though, so I'll just keep plugging along, I guess.
Okay, moving one level up, we get to our first smart trainer of the day, which is brilliant because it makes training with connected apps so much more fun.
But for the uninitiated, can you just tell us what a smart trainer actually is?
Sure. So standard trainers can broadcast your speed, sometimes your power, but with a smart trainer, it's a two-way thing. So this Tacx Flow Smart can communicate with apps wirelessly either by the AMP Plus protocol or by Bluetooth, and it can alter the resistance as the riding gets harder. So when the road goes uphill. It just makes for a much more immersive experience. Now this trainer can replicate gradients of up to 6% and it's got a maximum resistance of 800 watts. So with the Tacx training app we're using here, you can ride training films, loads of flameless climbs, or you can do what Jamie's doing now, which is a nice little workout session.
Yeah, I've got an interval coming up in a minute.
So this Tacx Flow Smart shows just how far smart trainers have come in a short space of time. Something with these stats would have been seriously expensive, you know, a few years ago, but now it's an excellent entry into the world of smart trainers and very affordable. Okay, we're keeping the towel from last time, but we've also added a fan.
It is very welcome.
Yes. If you're going to commit to spending any amount of time indoors on the trainer, then you really need to get a fan to keep you cool. And a gym fan like this one, it's only about 35 quid. It really is the most cost-effective bit of indoor training kit you can buy. To get a bit of a bigger screen, we've moved up from a phone to an iPad, and we've mounted that on a cheap stand from Amazon to keep it away from the sweat zone. Again, we're running the Tacx training app, which gives you access to a whole library of video routes, as well as structured training sessions and the ability to ride anywhere on 3D maps. We'll give that a go in a bit from a GPS file. We've assumed you've already got an iPad knocking about, but even if you don't, you could pick up a second-hand iPad that will run most training apps and still stay under our £500 budget.
Not bad at all.
Okay, so for the Tacx Flow, we've got you on a little workout session on the Tacx training out there.
Tell me about it. It is annoyingly reliably keeping me at my target wattage.
Yeah, so you've got it on erg mode, so it's keeping the wattage, whatever you do to the gears and the cadence.
No matter the cadence, I'm holding Swift 180 watts.
180?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot for you.
It is. It feels plenty enough.
And obviously we've moved up the range, so how does this feel compared to the Boost?
Well, this one does feel an improvement. It's really responsive, so if I go for a bit of high cadence or whatever, go for an effort in a race, then yeah, it really, my power is instantly going onto the virtual road. And obviously we're having a conversation, the fan's probably louder than this. This is about as quiet as it gets for a wheel-on trainer. Yeah,
for a wheel-on trainer, but now we're going to move up another notch and go on to direct drive.
I'm a very lucky boy.
Okay, with this next step up, we come to our first direct drive trainer. Now, the wheel-on trainers that we've been covering so far, they're hardly noisy, but if you want the ultimate in quiet operation, then a wheel-off or direct drive trainer, as they're more commonly known, is the way to go. Listen to how quiet it is. You can barely hear it. You simply take off the bike's rear wheel and then attach the bike directly to the trainer, which has a cassette fitted. So it's in the frame instead of your rear wheel. That means it's quieter and you don't wear out your tyre, and you can also measure your power more accurately.
Yeah, so this Tacx Flux S is accurate to 3%, and that means that they're commonly used, direct drive trainers, by riders who really want their data to be spot on.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind if mine was reading, you know, maybe 10% on the high side.
Why stop at 10? Let's go for it.
So speaking of power, the Tacx Flux S here boasts a maximum resistance of 1500 watts, and it can replicate slopes of up to 10%, which is useful for you because you're currently...
It could be.
You're in the Alps right now, are you?
I'm in the Pyrenees.
Oh, you're in the Pyrenees.
Yeah, so I think there's some steep gradients coming.
Yeah, so if you're going to head to one of the big mountain climbs on the Tacx app, like Luzard de Den that Jamie's on, just make sure you fitted a nice wide range cassette to give you some bailout gears. If you're committing to doing some more structured indoor training or even racing, you're going to need that fan and that towel even more than ever before. We're also going to use a trainer mat here, primarily because it gives you a surface that's easy to wipe all that lovely sweat off when you've got to the top of Luzard de Den. And talking of sweat, you don't really want to do a long session and drip salty sweat all over your nice bike. So what we've got here is a Tacx sweat cover that protects your bike from the worst of it.
Yeah, it's definitely not dripping all down in my headset now. So.
Yeah, and we know how bad that can be.
Yeah.
So for this setup, we've swapped the iPad for a laptop. And again, we've just picked up a cheap tripod stand to put it on. I mean, you could use the iPad instead if you preferred. So Jamie, the step up from a wheel-on trainer to a direct drive trainer like this is probably the most noticeable in terms of the feel of the trainer.
Yeah, I think so. Like, just from a noise perspective, obviously this is the quietest one we've had so far. And the only time that this trainer is good for everyone, apart from maybe elite level racing.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers, we're not really going to trouble them, are we? Like 1500 watt maximum resistance. Give it a go. I mean...
No, I haven't. No? No, tried and tested.
Yeah, I could maybe nudge 1500 watts.
Oh yeah.
Well, from a little distance away with a big stick. Okay, should we strip this Flux S out and then we'll get its slightly beefier brother in. Okay, we're getting into some seriously fancy indoor setups now, and the next one we have is this, the Tacx Flux 2. Now, spending $1,000 on an indoor setup might seem like a lot, but if you're considering spending your money on this rather than a second bike for winter riding, then these higher-end Tacx trainers are very good value for money.
Yeah, especially for riders like me who would rather go for a blast on an indoor trainer than freeze out there.
Yeah, it's a far better option for the likes of you. I'd say that something like this Tacx Flux 2 is probably the real sweet spot in terms of price to performance for the majority of us. So this thing boasts a maximum resistance of 2000 watts. It'll simulate gradients up to 16% and measure your power to within 2.5% of accuracy. The ride feel is also really good thanks to the 7.6 kilo flywheel in the back. Now, the Flux 2 is £700, so there's a bit of budget left for the rest of your setup. We're back on the iPad this time. Running the Tacx training app, but we've upgraded to Tacx's tablet holder, which is nice and sturdy and puts your screen exactly where you want it. Everything else we've kept from the previous setup, except we've upgraded to a Tacx smartphone sweat cover. You put your phone in there and then you get access to your WhatsApp.
I've got my music, yeah, messages, all of that stuff. The work chat's going off. Yeah, so with a setup like this, with that bigger flywheel, it does feel like a more realistic riding experience. Because when you get to a little descent, it keeps spinning, and when you want to pedal again, you pick it up quite quick.
You've got a little bit more momentum, haven't you, to pick up the climb again. And are you on a descent at the moment?
No, I'm on no, I'm on a drag in Mallorca.
Okay.
I'm catching the group in front though, so.
Yeah. And the good thing about this tablet stand is that it puts the screen right in front of you, so everything's like easy to access.
Yeah, it's like having a bigger display because it's right here.
Yeah.
And with the phone here as well, I can control my music separately and reply to some messages even, not during a hard interval.
To pretend like you're working.
Okay racers, pay attention because this is a seriously pro level setup that you'll often see being used by the best in the business. We have the Tacx Neo 2T, a properly powerful direct drive smart trainer that is ideal for serious indoor training setups.
Yeah, now the thing that we like about the Tacx Neo 2T is that it's capable of powerful resistance at really low speeds and reacts really well in the blink of an eye. So you can simulate savage climbs and you can jump onto the attacks without the system lagging behind you. Unlike its direct competitors like the Wahoo Kicker and the Saris H3, it doesn't use a belt inside to drive the resistance unit from the cassette. The connection is direct and the flywheel is virtual rather than being a big block of metal that you spin up to speed. It's smart enough to be able to replicate different road conditions too, different road surfaces, which you can feel if you're running Zwift or the Tacx app like we are here. Although we're in training mode, so it's mostly smooth.
The Koppenberg, weren't we?
Yeah. Tacx claims that the Neo 2T can simulate a flywheel up to 125 kilos, which is obviously way above the physical flywheels on other units. And the design also allows the trainer to directly drive the rear wheel when it's plugged in, so it'll keep up speed when you're resting on descent, so you're ready to pick up when you get to the bottom again. But you might be able to see that we don't have it plugged in here. It's able to generate its own power. So if you like to take your trainer to warm up before outside races, then you can get full interactivity with your favorite training app in the middle of the field if you want to. Have you ever done that?
I haven't.
How much would you like to bring this to the next cyclocross race?
Oh, your competitors would be scared, wouldn't they?
Thank you very much. Now, the Neo 2T can simulate up to a 25% gradient and offers up to 2,200 watts of resistance, an accuracy of plus or minus 1%, which are some of the best stats on the market. It also, as you can see, has lights on the bottom which change based on your power. So if you wind it up, get it red. Very nice. And you can also mount it to the Neo motion plates for extra comfort when you're riding. Once you start riding, you'll probably notice that the Neo 2T is very quiet. Most direct drive trainers are these days, and the 2T is as quiet as any. It's certainly not as noisy as this bike's transmission, and it's nowhere near as noisy as this fan down here. Aha! Make it go. There we go. We've upgraded here to a VacMaster training fan, which throws out a lot of air, and it also comes with that little remote control, so you can ramp it up for the last throws of a race. For this setup, we've also kept the laptop, but we've added this big screen here to give you a properly immersive experience. So we've got a 40-inch telly here. That's on a stand, but you'd probably have it mounted on your wall, so we haven't included that in the cost. We've kept the laptop stand, so there's space on there for your telly remote and probably some snacks if you're going on a long one. And the mat, the sweat protector, and the towel are all back as well. One of the great features of the Neo 2T is that it will drive on the descents. Yeah, so, and that's something that not many other trainers do, if any. No. I've been up outdoors on Zwift and left it running while I went for a shower in between goes. Yeah, and then obviously when you get to the bottom of the climb, you don't need to spin up that flywheel, because it's moving. So that's an advantage in races, for example. Yeah, absolutely. The other cool thing is, of course, these lights. Now, if that doesn't make you want to work harder, then I don't know what will. Yeah, it's always good when you're looking at your stem in the last bit of a race to see that it's like right into the red. It better be red. And then, of course, when you finish that race and you're not allowed to keep your set up, then it packs up quite nice as well. Yeah, it packs up really small, and also that's good if you are taking it outside to warm up a race, for example. Really handy. Okay, this is the one you've all been waiting for, and it's safe to say we have saved the ultimate setup until last. This is the brand new Neo Bike Plus, and it's just the kind of thing you want if you've got a bit of cash to spend on a permanent setup. That's especially true if there's more than one person training in your household, because the Neo Bike Plus is really simple and quick to adjust to different riders. You can change any aspect of the bike fit, and you get 5 different crank lengths at the cranks there to choose from as well. So you can set it up to match your outdoor bike, and that means you don't have to worry about getting your race bike all sweaty or constantly adjusting the gears when you move from indoor training to outdoor training, because it's never quite the same, is it? At the heart of the Neo Bike Plus is the same resistance unit you'll find in the Neo 2T trainer from the last setup. And that is driven from the pedals by a belt drive, and it is super quiet, as you can probably hear. The bike has virtual gearing, which feels just like a real drivetrain, and you can configure it however you like. You can choose a Shimano setup, a SRAM setup, or Campag, or you can give yourself a custom drivetrain with whatever cassette you like at the back and up to 3 chainrings at the front. I've got a compact double chain set with an 1128 cassette on currently. Excellent, and you know that because there's a screen at the front giving you all the information and the ride metrics, and also up there there's 2 USB ports so you can charge your phone or your tablet as well. Got my phone up here as well in a little holder. We've kept our VacMaster fan from the last setup, but as you can see the Neo Bike Plus has 2 fans of its own, which can be set to blow harder as your heart rate or your power increases, which is useful for a little bit of extra cooling on your face while this is just doing the general work. In terms of power, the Neo Bike Plus is as accurate as they come, claiming to record your power to within 1%. And like the Neo 2T, it can offer resistance of up to 2,200 watts, and it can simulate a gradient of up to 25%, which is going to be good when you get to the Copperberg. Yes, we're only at 5 at the moment, but... It can also simulate different road surfaces, and if you're working on your pedaling technique, you can use the Tacx app to analyze a whole load of pedaling dynamics as well. Now, we've paired the Neo Bike Plus with our laptop again, so we can get classic climbs on a really, really big telly, so it's almost like being there. Yeah, there is so many Peugeots here. If you wanted to, and you've got the space, you could go even bigger. You could have a projection screen if you like. I think this is enough. Yeah, so this is the top dollar setup for sure, but if you're committed to indoor riding and racing, then it's a super top quality setup, and it's this is pretty much as good as it gets. Jamie, you've hit the big time. How do you feel?
This is cool. Yeah, I like this a lot. Not only do you get the funky lights, but these gears are really impressive actually. And obviously you can set them up to whatever you're running outside.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I like is this little power number is a 3-second watt average, and it is so quick to change.
Yeah, really responsive.
Yes, I trust that number with my life.
So obviously this bike hasn't got any gears, it's a single speed effectively, but it's got virtual gears, and I've tested the previous version of this bike and it's incredibly realistic.
I would like all my bikes to have virtual gears because they are like real life gears, but perfect.
Yeah.
So there's no indexing issues or anything like that. Like on the Tacx Neo 2T, the free hub drives itself on descent, so same benefits as before.
Absolutely, yeah. And like we've said, really easy to set up, so you've got it set up like your road bike at the moment, but it's super simple to adjust.
Yeah, that's how I did like my mountain bike, or perhaps a shorter ride I got on here. It's as simple as I'm doing that and doing it back up again.
Yeah.
And then if it is just you using it, for example, I've now got a really short bike. You can replace these handy handles with like grub screws, so it looks a bit neater.
Right, it looks like you've got a bit of a climb coming up, so I might leave you to test the limits of the machine.
I think it's far more likely to test my limits than the machine's limits, but hey, there we go.
So there you go, that's a load of different trainer setups you can use, and hopefully you found one that will match your budget.
And of course, a big thanks to Garmin for sending all these turbos. We've had a lot of fun using them.
Well, I haven't used them, but
I've enjoyed using them.
Absolutely. And which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments below which one would suit you best.
And as always, if you enjoyed this video, then drop us a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.